Over the last decade, something has quietly but fundamentally changed in the way Hollywood tells stories. Power, especially on screen, has been reassigned. Not through character arcs, not through growth, but by mandate. Studios have embraced a new creative rule. Women must be shown in positions of power. They must lead, they must give the orders, and they must never be undermined. But what happens when a story starts serving a message instead of its characters? We're about to find out. From Star Trek Picard's Admiral Clancy to The Last Jedi's Admiral Holdo, Hollywood is determined to show women in charge. Even in buddy cop comedies or sci-fi blockbusters, the authority figure is almost always a woman. And she's never wrong. Scenes are written so that her authority goes unchallenged. Conflict is minimized. Obedience is implied. Let's go back to The Last Jedi. Admiral Holdo doesn't just outrank Poe Dameron, she steamrolls him. Poe is never allowed to push back effectively. He's treated like a reckless child who must be silenced, rather than a decorated pilot whose concerns might be valid. Holdo withholds critical information from him, not because it makes strategic sense, but because the story needs to paint him as impulsive and her as the morally superior adult. There's no banter, no ideological tension. Just a wall. She is unchallengeable. The same dynamic shows up in Star Trek, where Admiral Clancy dresses down Jean-Luc Picard, a man once known for his moral clarity and sharp diplomacy. But in this scene, he's not allowed to be clever or persuasive. He's not even allowed to be respected. She drops the F word on him and sends him packing. It's not a conversation, it's a shutdown. And we're supposed to cheer it on because the subtext is clear. The past must submit to the present, and the present must look a certain way. What's missing in all these scenes is exchange. The friction that makes character dynamics interesting. Remember M and James Bond? The tension was dramatic, sometimes funny, sometimes painful, but it was always built on mutual respect. That dynamic is gone. Instead, we get scenes that feel like HR seminars with a scriptwriter checking off a studio-mandated bullet list. And it's not just leadership, it's moral infallibility. These characters are never wrong, never questioned, never even flustered. They don't have arcs. They have functions. They're vessels for ideals, not people. And because of that, they rob male characters of their voice and the audience of any real drama. This mandate doesn't stop at leadership. Once the action begins, a second rule kicks in. The empowered female lead cannot lose a fight to a man. In some cases, she can't even be struck. Rey Skywalker wins every single duel. No training, no formal combat experience. Yet she overpowers Kylo Ren, the film's central antagonist, again and again. Meanwhile, Luke Skywalker, the original hero, lost a hand, failed his training, got wrecked by Vader. And that made us believe in his journey. With Rey, there is no struggle. And so there is no growth. In Disney's Mulan, the protagonist is born with chi, basically superhero powers. She never loses, she never trains, she never looks vulnerable, because the script can't let her. And if a woman does lose, there are only two acceptable options. Number one, a female character can only be defeated by another woman. This one's simple. A female character may be allowed to lose a fight, but only if her opponent is also female, never a man, never someone who would challenge the mandate that she remain untouchable in the gender power hierarchy. Take Mortal Kombat 2021. Sonya Blade doesn't just hold her own, she defeats every male character she faces. The only character who poses any real threat to her is Melina, another female fighter. And in the final battle, the lead character Cole has to hold Melina back until Sonya arrives to deliver the final blow. Number two, a female character can only be defeated by her environment. These aren't just plot devices, they're insurance policies. Hollywood doesn't want the optics of a man harming a woman, even in a fictional fight. So when stakes are needed, the environment steps in. Rey isn't beaten by Kylo. The planet literally splits them apart. Sonya isn't defeated by Kano. A falling statue takes her out. But these narrative gymnastics don't enhance the narrative. They protect the feminist agenda at the cost of story. The same restrictions apply to female villains, just in reverse. If the villain is a woman, male heroes are forbidden from defeating her directly. Instead, the script finds a workaround. Take Reva in Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is a former Inquisitor who's literally impaled through the chest by Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith. But Reva, she walks it off. She's not killed. She's not even truly defeated. She just kind of moves on. Then, when the moment finally comes for a showdown with Obi-Wan, our title character, there's no real battle. No climax. Reva defeats herself. She has an emotional realization, cries, and chooses mercy. In Thor Ragnarok, Hela isn't taken down by Thor. She's obliterated off-screen when Surtur brings about Ragnarok and destroys Asgard. No fight, no victory, just circumstance. She's too dangerous to ignore, but too protected to touch. In Deadpool and Wolverine, Cassandra Nova is both impaled and shot, but it doesn't kill her. Her actual death comes when a machine she's using overloads and vaporizes her. There's no physical fight, no direct justice, just convenient disintegration. Great storytelling depends on conflict. Heroes become heroes when they're pushed to the edge, when they're tested, broken, and forced to climb back. That's why we believed in Sarah Connor. That's why we believed in Beatrix Kiddo. That's why we believed in Cherry Darling. They weren't powerful because a writer said so. They were powerful because they earned it. But when a character is never wrong, never loses, never bleeds, they stop being human. They become checkboxes, and checkboxes can't grow. Hollywood's current playbook doesn't create strong female characters. It creates untouchable ones. Perfect, dominant, script-proof. But there's no strength in never being tested. And there's no empowerment in being immune to challenge. In the end, what we're seeing isn't just a shift in character dynamics, it's a shift in the very foundation of storytelling itself. When creative mandates override organic narrative structure, the result is a story that serves a message more than it serves its audience. Female empowerment, in its most sincere form, doesn't need to be insulated from challenge or conflict. It should thrive in it. But when writers are forced to protect characters from defeat rather than develop them through it, we end up with protagonists who are less memorable, less relatable, and ultimately, less compelling. Empowerment becomes a checkbox, not a journey, and audiences can feel that even if they can't always articulate it. Strong characters, regardless of gender, need vulnerability, failure, and risk. Let heroes be human. Let villains be dangerous. Let stories unfold without fear of optics. Because when characters stop being allowed to fall, the audience stops believing in them when they rise. And that's the heart of it. The moment storytelling becomes second to messaging, everyone, writers, characters, and audiences, loses. Thanks for watching. If you found this insightful or worth debating, drop a comment, share your thoughts, and subscribe for more breakdowns like this.